Tsafendas, inyanga yezizwe, Tsafendas, healer of the nation. That's what many would later chant during the height of the liberation struggle in the 70s, honoring the late Dimitri Tsafendas, the man who killed the architect of apartheid, Hendrik Verwoerd, during a parliamentary session in 1966. At the time, the Mozambique-born Tsafendas was simply declared mad and tortured. But a subsequent book about his life reveals the man was actually a devout communist who pretended he had a tapeworm living inside him, all to avoid the hangman. The activist died in a mental hospital in 1999 and was buried in an unmarked grave without being regarded as a liberation hero. Now the SA Communist Party wants to memorialize him. Its first Deputy General Secretary, Solly Mapaila, joins us now. Solly, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. On Sunday, the Greek Orthodox Church in Maputo held a special service for Tsafendas, attended by various dignitaries. You want to honor him as well, too, as a former member of your party. How?
Well, firstly, we want to appreciate that Dimitri Tsafendas was a people's hero who was indeed not accorded his rightful place in the liberation struggle history in South Africa. And we appreciate what was done in Mozambique, and we are also committed to honor his memory. We had actually submitted first to government through the Minister of Justice, the former Justice Minister Masuta, and also informed the current Minister, Ronald Lamola, about his contribution to our struggle after a massive research was done by a scholar, Harris Dosometis, who actually outlined even all the lies told by the apartheid regime, and we submitted a full report as well as a summarized version of that, because that also related into a book that was written, Dimitri, the man who killed apartheid. So we feel it's important that we recognize his contribution. He suffered immensely on behalf of our people, not only because he wanted to protect himself from being hanged. The apartheid regime did not want to accept the fact that he could have conscientiously killed apartheid architect Hendrik Verwoerd. That's why they labeled him an insane man, despite all records showing the contrary opinion. So we feel it's critical, like all other revolutionaries, that we memorialize, we pay tribute to him. We had started a couple of years ago. We did a brief his first memorial service in the Northwest Province with some of his former inmates. And in 2018, we were disrupted by COVID into this year as well. But we also think that we should be able to erect a proper gravesite for him, so people can go there and continue to see where he was laid to rest and to honor him properly, like all other departed combatants.
What can we learn from Tsafendas and his legacy? And is his legacy maybe a complicated one? Because while he was, he did kill someone who was an architect of an evil structure, it was still murder.
Yes, of course. I think that's part of the problem. At that time, also, you must remember that the Communist Party was banned. Dimitri first was an internationalist. I mean, he struggled in Greece. He participated in Portugal. He participated in India. He participated in South Africa. He participated in Mozambique. He was one of the foremost internationalist revolutionary. And when he was in South Africa and was felt offended by the actions of the apartheid government and decided to take the action that he did, while death on its own is not the appropriate action to undertake, but sometimes it's inevitable in the process of war. And I think war can come in different methods. At that time, that's why also the liberation movement, perhaps the leadership at the time tactically did not want to own up the response by murder. You will also notice that at that time the movement had not even yet adopted armed struggle, wherein in armed struggle death was somehow inevitable, of course within the framework of agreed war conventions. But in this case, it actually pushed the movement quite back, and with the apartheid government at the time preparing to ban the Communist Party, it became quite evident that they could not own him up, which was quite unfortunate, actually, because I think what Dimitri did, he acted and ideologically, but of course, perhaps going above certain boundaries that were limited to action of revolutionaries.
Well, Solly, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. The SACP's Solly Mapaila talking to us about the legacy of Dimitri Tsafendas. Thank you for your time.